In this video, I want to introduce you to another potential problem with a welder setting, and that leads to something I call a pulsed weld. And it happens when the voltage is too high relative to the feed rate of the wire coming out of the gun. So I'm just going to use a simple gasless 120 volt plug-in welder for this demonstration. And if you come over here, you'll see that the voltage control is pretty well right up there. And the wire speed is near the bottom of its range. So what happens when something is set like this, or even less extreme, but the pulsed weld happens when the power of the arc is high enough that it melts back the wire faster than the wire is advancing. So if you imagine you strike the arc, heat is generated, and the wire is vaporizing faster than it's coming out of the gun. So at some stage we get a gap that's too wide for the arc to be sustained, and the arc stops momentarily, very momentarily, half second, maybe quarter second. But the wire's continuing to feed, so it gets closer to the metal and it reestablishes the arc. But the arc's too powerful for the wire speed, so it vaporizes back. The arc is broken, and so forth. So it's this pulsing, this kind of and I want to show you that now. We'll take a look at an actual weld using these kind of extreme settings. You're not going to have an imbalance this great unless you've just made a mistake and haven't paid attention to the controls. But the whole concept of the pulsed weld comes down to this, and you will probably encounter that semi-frequently as you're setting up a welder. And you can tell at least as much by sound as you can by results. You'll get an uneven sound. What you really want with a properly set up welder is the sound of frying bacon and eggs. It's a kind of a sound, and it's consistent. If you get anything that's pulsed, you know you got an adjustment. So let's go and take a look. So did you notice how that electrode was kind of pulsing back and forth? You could hear it too. And this is the weld bead I laid down. Now, of course, it's a non-gas shielded, so there's some soot and things around. That's to be expected. But in addition to not being even, there's just not a lot of metal there. It's just not going to be all that strong. So if you see stuff like that and you hear the pulsing, you know you need less voltage and more wire feed speed.